1817, a series of mysterious and unsettling events gripped a Tennessee family. The primary focus of this paranormal predator seemed to be centered on the family's patriarch, John Bell. The tales of the paranormal happenings surrounding the Bell family were so prevalent that they attracted what would be ghost hunters from all over the country, including and eventually U.S. President Andrew Jackson. Additionally, the Bell Witch at that time was considered so vengeful that it was dubiously distinction of being the first in U.S. history to be blamed for an actual recorded death. This is the haunting of the Bell Witch. But before we get into today's story, my name is Jennifer Walker and I am a psychic and tarot reader. And if you are a fan of the dark and mysterious with a little tarot thrown in for good measure, then I am the girl for you. I upload 2 times a week on this channel, and if you're really a fan of tarot, you can join me on my other channel, Jennifer Walker Zen. So if that's of interest to you, I would ask you to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of my uploads. Now, let's get into today's story. Red River is the current city of Adams, Tennessee, and was once home to a pious, devoted community of farmers. Religion was a large part of society during this time, and Baptist churches were often at the center of their communities. John Bell wanted this type of life for him and his family. So in 1804, John Bell moved his large family from North Carolina to a large patch of land along the Red River in Tennessee. He converted the large 1,000-acre piece of land into an efficiently run farm. As a result, he rose to great prominence as an elder at the Red River Baptist Church. According to church records, John and his family were regular attendees of the church, which consisted of his wife Lucy and 6 children: Jesse, Drew, John Jr., Benjamin, Betsy, and Richard. The family farm was extremely successful, as well established, and would remain that way for 13 years, until suddenly the unexplainable sighting began. The Bell family and their servants began noticing unusual animals passing through the property. Some are described as having canine features, but behaving strangely, while others are described as completely unrecognizable. One of the strangest descriptions described a creature with the body of a black dog and the head of a rabbit with glowing red eyes. In the woods around the property, people began seeing dead man's candles or balls are flickering light at night. The balls of light are reported to have surrounded the Bell's property, but never crossed the threshold of the property itself. Instead, they are reported to have hovered ominously around the edge of the woods. It wasn't long, however, before the strange phenomenon began happening inside the home, primarily in the form of disturbing noises. Family members reported several strange sounds that seemed to come from nowhere and without source. Erratic knocking was heard behind the doors with no one behind them. The sounds of chains being dragged on the floor were heard in empty rooms. The sounds of rats gnawing and scratching at bedposts were heard with nothing there. The sinister and distressful sounds continued to escalate until all the sounds culminated into a single disembodied voice of a woman. It is at this point that John Bell suspected he and his family were being haunted by a witch. John Bell elicited the help of preachers and friends to try to communicate with the witch and figured out what she wanted. They were able to make contact with the entity, who revealed its name to be Kate. The communication, unfortunately, did nothing to sway the malevolent force. It soon took a menacing turn in which the entity made its intentions clear. Those intentions were, it wanted to kill John Bell. It became clear to everyone at this point that John was the primary target of the hauntings. But although John may have been the primary target on the hauntings, hauntings, that did not mean the rest of the family was not immune to the entity's torments. Betsy Bell would regularly be subjugated to painful and horrific sensations of being scratched and sometimes beaten. However, oddly enough, there were also times that the witch behaved like a possessed mother towards Betsy. This was alleged by Betsy herself when she claimed that her particularly chilling incident at the neighbor's house. The witch assured her it would not bother her or her neighbors again for the rest of the night. Additionally, she claimed she felt a hand gently pat her cheeks and caress her hair. Around this time, Betsy had plans to get married to another neighbor named Joshua Gardner, but her interactions with him seemed to further anger the witch. Betsy believed that the apparition wanted to keep her and Joshua apart, and after several disturbing encounters with the witch, both Betsy and Joshua called off their engagement. This seemingly pleased the entity, and from that day forward, she was no longer tormented. The witch also must have taken a liking to John's wife Lucy, because she was never had any issues, unlike John and Betsy. For 3 long years, the hauntings continued to escalating, with some of the incidents becoming violent. Farm workers began reporting being attacked. Incidents of being verbally abused and tripped, beaten were becoming commonplace. The voice of the Bell Witch seemed to become more menacing as well, yelling, shrieking, and mimicking various family members' voices became a normal occurrence. As word of the malicious haunting spread, it began to attract visitors from Tennessee and Kentucky. Everyone from paranormal enthusiasts to skeptics wanted to glimpse of the supposed paranormal events, with some getting more than they bargained for, becoming victims themselves. The more attention the entity was paid, the louder it became, as though it was feeding off people's fear. One such incident happened to a man named Frank Miles, who arrived at the farmhouse, wanting to personally challenge the witch. He declared he was too big and strong to be affected by the hauntings. He was a large, intimidating man who was supposedly 7 feet tall and 300 pounds. After informing Frank of the potential danger, the Bells agreed to give him lodging for the night. A few hours later, the Bells were woken to a terrifying scream and howls of the man. Upon entering the room, he was found sprinting around the house, terrified. Before they could reach him, he frantically ran from the home and never returned. The Bell Witch became so infamous, it attracted the likes of President Andrew Jackson. Jackson owned land in the Red River and was familiar with the area. And in 1819, he tried to travel to see the paranormal for himself. He and the other men traveling with him were reportedly threatened by the invisible force. As they traveled up the road, one of the wheels of Jackson's carriage became stuck. Jackson suddenly heard a woman's voice, to which he stated, "By the eternal boys, this is the witch." The voice came again, this time loud enough for all to hear. However, undeterred after freeing the carriage, Jackson and his party pressed on, and at that point it is reported that they were more intrigued than frightened. That, however, was about to change. They set up camp for the night and planned to continue their journey to the farmhouse in the morning. But the entity came to them again. One of Jackson's party was a self-proclaimed witch hunter, tried to fire his pistol at it, but to his disbelief, it would not fire. Then, out of nowhere, he was struck by an invisible blow of a considerable force. After such a forceful attack, Jackson's party decided it was best that they turn around and journey back to Nashville. By 1820, the Bell family had suffered great physical abuse and psychological torture from the Bell Witch, and it was taking its toll on all of them. As the legend of the Bell Witch grew, so the intensity of the paranormal attacks. The hauntings continued to escalate and would finally take a deadly turn in December of 1820. The family reported hearing the disembodied voice of the witch, and then, without warning, John Bell suddenly fell ill and eventually into a coma. For some time previous to that, John had been experiencing difficulty swallowing, along with having strange sensations on his mouth and face. This was in addition to the unusual physical and psychological torment caused by the Bell Witch. He was 7 years old, and the outcome of his mysterious illness wasn't promising. Not long after the symptoms appeared, John was found unconscious in his bed. The next morning, he was pronounced dead. Filled with dread and confusion, John Bell Jr. discovered a dark liquid next to the bed. It was reported by the Bell family that the witch could be heard taking credit for the final killing of John. Allegedly laughing and singing was even heard at the funeral days later. However, after John Bell's body was lowered into the ground, a mournful yet peaceful silence settled over the Bell farmhouse for the first time in 3 years. It was as if the witch had done what it had set out to do. The hauntings had finally stopped, and the Bell family finally felt a sense of peace again. Betsy Bell went on to marry Richard Powell, who was a former teacher of hers, and moved to Mississippi. One of the younger Bell children, Richard, who was only 6 years old when the witch began to torment his family, wrote down his memories of the terrifying experience, and eventually wrote a book titled Our Family Trouble. The story of the Bell Witch of Tennessee, Jesse and John Bell Jr., married sisters Martha and Elizabeth Gunn, the daughters of a prominent, revered named Thomas Gunn, all was seemingly well. However, 8 years later, the Bell Witch returned. The Bell returned to haunt Lucy and her 3 sons, Richard, Joel, and John, with similar activities as before. However, Lucy, Richard, and Joel chose not to engage or encourage it. They instead chose to ignore it, causing the witch's influence to dispense rather quickly. John Bell Jr., however, was not so lucky. The Bell Witch allegedly visited John Bell Jr. in 1828, with her hauntings consisting of her talking about the past, present, and future. The hauntings took place over 3 consecutive days before she disappeared. On the 3rd day, she descended into a ball of light and gave a chilling prophecy. She claimed she would return in 170 years to haunt John Jr.'s most direct descendant. This ominous threat should have taken place in the year 1935, but that time has come and gone without any reports of the paranormal phenomenon. And as far as researchers can tell, she has yet to make good on her threat. At least for now, the potential causes of the hauntings. Mary Catherine Betts, the Bell family's neighbor, had an ongoing dispute with John Bell over the sale of an enslaved person. As a result of this dispute, both families continue to feud with each other. It has been suggested that because of this continuous feuding, Mary Catherine or someone in her family potentially could have poisoned John Bell using arsenic. Arsenic was widely available at the time in the form of rat poisoning. To further bolster this claim are the symptoms displayed by John before he died, such as his difficulty swallowing and the smell of garlic on his breath, along with the continuous twitching in his face. These are all signs of arsenic poisoning. The most damning evidence, however, linking Kate to the hauntings is the fact that the witch answered to the name Kate, which was what most people called Mary Catherine. As a result, Mary Catherine was the prime suspect of the potential poisoning for many years. However, she continuously denied this claim, and there is no solid evidence linking her to any of the hauntings. Another potential cause of the hauntings have been theorized to be Native American nature, citing the strange animals that were seen roaming the Bell farmland. These animals have an uncanny resemblance to the skinwalkers, which in Navajo culture is a type of harmful witch who has the ability to turn into, possess, or disguise themselves as animals. The skinwalker haunting, it's theorized to have taken place because of the potential disturbance of indigenous burial grounds located on the Bell property. The last theory is that there is a generational curse, which is defined as an ancestral sin or generational sin that is caused by someone's ancestor being at fault and being cursed by someone believing themselves to have been unjustly wrong. This theory holds that individuals inherited the judgment for the sin of their ancestors. If this is the case, it must be assumed that John Bell himself presumably wronged someone, and that individual placed a curse upon him. This can be determined from the fact that no previous paranormal activity was reported nor mentioned before moving to Tennessee. It could also be inferred that whatever happened with John Bell took place in those 13 years of prosperity on the farm, perhaps angering someone or something. Now that you know the story, let's get some answers. Join me in my investigation room. Hello, welcome to my investigation room. I am going to say this legal statement because this is what I have to say, guys. So this is for entertainment purposes only, or allegedly. So we're first going to do a freestyle reading and we're going to find out exactly what happened here. Because obviously with this situation, the farm was doing really well for like a number of years. So it's something that kind of happened out of the blue. So I really want to get to the bottom of what exactly happened. So let's first of all find out exactly what happened. Okay, so what was the truth behind this situation when it came to the Bell family, of how everything fell apart, how everything happened? What was the truth? How did this happen? Show me the cards I need to see. Show me the cards I need to see. Okay, let's first take a look at this here. Okay, so we got a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. It had to do with possibly a child energy. Could have been a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. This could also be talking about concerns about being naive, okay? A new perspective, new ideas about a situation. Someone decided to make some kind of choice. I get the sense that they were not being completely straight up and honest about it. It looks like right here you have this family going on. You see this mother, their children, and it looks like the father energy is like kind of like doing his own thing. He's kind of away. He's kind of like fulfilling his happiness and his desires there. That's what I get the sense of with this 10 of Cups energy. What we see so far, there was new perspective and a choice that was made for a sense of happiness. 10 of Cups energy. There was this very cautious defensive energy, and someone kept thinking and contemplating and planning something here, because there was regrets about something. So someone really was looking to the past and they were like, wow, I really feel bad about this. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe I missed this opportunity here, okay? We see that there was this concerns about this missed opportunity and something that seemed a little bit out of reach. And it was like, I don't want what's in front of me here. And someone who is spending a lot of time alone. It's interesting, isn't it? You see this person, they're sitting by this tree, and then you see this person again sitting by this tree. There was a lot of soul searching, a lot of alone time, and a lot of thinking about this. And wanting to end hurt and pain here, wanting to end some kind of tough cycle that they were dealing with. Someone really wanted something here. We see with this friendship, and we see it had to do with memories of the past, someone pertaining to the past. We see there was something to do with this home, this house, a marriage, and wanting to defend a position here about a relationship. It seemed like there could have been more than one person involved with this. We see the 3 of Pentacles energy, okay, or trying to find some kind of creative solution. We see the Empress talks about a mother energy, fertility, okay, something was growing around this situation. And there was want for some kind of good news, Page of Pentacles energy. Let's go further. So what exactly happened to cause this to happen all of a sudden? What exactly happened? What caused this to happen with the Bell family all of a sudden? Particularly around John. What is the deal? Show me cards I need to see. Show me cards I need to see. You can see it involves love there and somebody who wanted a sigh of relief. There was some kind of partying celebration here, which caused a loss. We see main person and travel here, far away energy. There was some kind of lying or deceptions about this. there was some kind of infringing party or some person that didn't mean, was like harmful to the situation. This is like saying enemy, some kind of bad person here. And we see there was a reunion, someone from the past, someone reunited with someone from the past. We see there was some kind of travel, far away energy and a party around this. Someone wanted to be of help to the other person, to be of service. So they had a conversation. We see something to do with this child, this fresh start, and someone who wanted to make some kind of power move to gain control. There was something spiritual that happened here. So somebody did some occult magic or something spiritual. Because someone wanted to be with someone else and they were desperate. We see that there was some kind of communication, letter, message, document, conversation, group of people, spiritual, letter, message, document. Okay, so it looks like so far what we can see, it involves somebody in the house who was wanting, they had a renewal of some kind of past relationship. It was somebody who was far away or somebody who had traveled, or they may have traveled to that person. There was some kind of party or celebration that happened where they reconnected with this person. That was the catalyst for all of this. And it looks like one of the individuals there knew occult magic. Okay, so why was John Bell the primary target of this situation? Why was John Bell the primary target of this situation? As you see, show me the cards I need to see. Because of heartache and sadness, somebody wanted to end their heartache and sadness. They wanted this to end. There we got the devil card energy. There was obsessive energy, toxicity, obsessions. Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. There was this truth of wanting some kind of good news. And, you know, this person took a passionate action, which caused a lot of regrets here, Five of Cups energy. When it came to this, you know, thinking outside of the box, new idea, new concept, something to do with a child energy. And we see someone was stuck here. They were stagnant. They needed to make some kind of sacrifice around this situation. They wanted a victory here to get what they want, Nine of Cups energy. So we see that there are some things that they explored here, and we see a magic again. And we see the King of Wands. They took a leadership role because of frustrations, because of arguing, fighting, about a friendship, because of going out. And we see this defeated energy around this. We see because of love, Queen of Cups energy, a lot of debating, contemplation about love, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. So it would seem like with this situation, there was a lot of complexities. It was not something straightforward. It was definitely a perfect storm and things came together. There was definitely a lot of dynamics to this. This is just an extra part I'm adding, guys, because I went back over it and I was listening to the reading again. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear-cut about this, okay? When I was doing the recording for this particular reading, what I heard was, it's the wife, okay? So from what we found out from the reading, that there was an occult practice that was used. Obviously, if it's saying it's the wife, that the wife was the main person that was causing this to happen. Okay, I just wanted to be clear about that. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. I love you guys so much. Definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments below, and I will see you guys soon.